Namaskar dosto, good evening friends. I am Dr. Sanjay Kalra, your friendly endocrinologist, and you are watching Dr. KK's Med Talks. Mondays with Dr. Sanjay Kalra. आज के हमारे नॉन स्टॉप शो का 693वां 693rd एपिसोड है. Now this week we are running a special program. This is because 1st July, which happened to be just a few days ago, was Doctors' Day, National Doctors' Day. So this is National Doctors Week that we are celebrating here, and this is in memory of Dr. KK Agarwal sir. Dr. KK Agarwal is the person who founded KK Med Talks. He is the person who created the idea, he conceptualized it, and then he also implemented it. Unfortunately, we lost him about 14 months ago. But like he said before he left us, the show must go on, and that is what we are doing. How do you keep the show going on? You keep it by remaining fit, mentally as well as physically. So let's see what topic we'll discuss in today's episode, special episode, which commemorates Dr. KK Agarwal's contribution to Indian society, to Indian medicine, and which also celebrates Doctors' Day and Doctors' Week. Let's have the headlines for today. COVID seems to show no signs of waning, and it is through the BBC Wimbledon team. Martina Navratilova is the latest star to test positive for COVID at Wimbledon. In the United Kingdom, hospitalized cases of COVID-19 are set to rise, says their country's health chief. India has also logged more than 1 lakh cases this week. This is the highest weekly record, the weekly score for the past 4 months. And our deaths have increased 50%, unfortunately. So all we can say is just keep on being vigilant, be socially vigilant, take care of yourself, and get yourself vaccinated if you've not done that right now. Tata 1 milligram has announced health screening for 1,000 doctors across India. And the Apple Watch Series 8 is also able to now let you know if you're running a fever. So this is another thing they can check for you. That's how smart our watches have become. But let's go to a smart topic for today. Physical fitness and diabetes. Do they go hand in hand? Are they the anathema of each other? ये बिल्कुल विपरीत है एक दूसरे से या एक दूसरे के साथ इकट्ठे चलते हैं? Let's find out and देखते हैं इसके लिए हमारे गेस्ट कौन है. एक बहुत स्पेशल स्माइलिंग गेस्ट है हमारे.
हेलो डॉक्टर संजय. गुड इवनिंग.
हाय मिस्टर साहिल. और आज के हमारे गेस्ट हैं मिस्टर साहिल मदान, और इससे बढ़िया स्माइल आपको पूरी दुनिया में नहीं मिल सकती.
थैंक यू.
साहिल जी काम करते हैं मुंबई में, बेंगलोर में, रहते बेंगलोर में हैं, मगर काम करते हैं पूरी दुनिया में, और इस समय वो स्वीडन में काम कर रहे हैं. ही इज करेंटली डायरेक्टर ऑफ क्रॉनिक डिजीज मैनेजमेंट, CDM, क्रॉनिक डिजीज मैनेजमेंट, फेबल केयर. तो डॉक्टर साहब से भी पूछेंगे भाई साहब से कि फेबल केयर क्या होता है, मगर और बड़ी सारी टर्बन्स पहनते हैं. ही वेयर्स मेनी हैट्स. डायरेक्टर तो है ही ऑफ क्रॉनिक डिजीज मैनेजमेंट. ही इज अ सर्टिफाइड डायबिटीज एजुकेटर. सो he is the person to go to if you want education in diabetes. He is also India's first personal fitness trainer specializing in type 1 diabetes. तो यदि आपको ये लगता है कि type 1 diabetes के साथ आप fit नहीं रह सकते, या फिर type 1 diabetes you can't build muscles, then I think the person we need to go to is Mr. Madan. Not only that, he is a philanthrope interested in public awareness, and he creates he spends a lot of effort and time creating fitness solutions for people with type 1 diabetes. He's also conceptualized and founded Fused Training, which is India's first type 1 diabetes health management startup. Not only that, DIA, Diabetes India Youth in Action, that is also his brainchild. Diabetes India, so that means all of us living in India, people with diabetes, the youth especially. Let's see what action he encourages us to undergo. और इसके अलावा ये स्पोर्ट्स न्यूट्रिशन स्पेशलिस्ट भी है. तो मिस्टर साहिल, एक बात तो बताएं, इतने सारे लोग आपको ग्रीट कर रहे हैं. विनी जोगलेकर जी न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट हैं फ्रॉम बैंगलोर, फ्रॉम योर सिटी. डॉक्टर संजीव पुरी हैं फ्रॉम दसूआ इन होशियारपुर इन पंजाब. स्वप्ना जैन जी हैं. शी इज जस्ट लाइक यू, शी इज अ पेशेंट एडवोकेट. सो जस्ट लाइक यू एडवोकेट फॉर टाइप 1 डायबिटीज, मैडम स्वप्ना एडवोकेट्स फॉर पीपल लिविंग विद ओबेसिटी, एंड शी इज लॉग्ड इन फ्रॉम वेल्लोर इन तमिलनाडु. दामोदर जेसवानी जी भी हैं, एंड मिश्रा साहब भी हैं, आपको जय श्री कृष्ण कर रहे हैं. क्वेश्चन ये है कि इतनी सारी टोपियां आप इकट्ठे कैसे पहनते हैं? हाउ आर यू एबल टू वेयर सो मेनी हैट्स एंड सो मेनी टर्बन्स?
First of all, sir, thank you for the introduction and for inviting me here. This has been so I started my career as a electronics engineer, but because I'm living with type 1 diabetes for the last 11 years, since 2011, so I always had the experience of living with a chronic disease, and there were a lot of problems that I faced in terms of sports, fitness with type 1, and also I couldn't find any solution for it through fitness coaches or through dietitians or online or offline. So that actually pushed me to create my own solutions, and that's how I basically got my education in fitness, diabetes, and then I basically started these programs which focuses on people living with type 1. Now it can be type 1 diabetes management, it can be sports solution, fitness solutions, or whatever problems that in the community were there for type 1s or even for type 2 as well. I started putting my capacity, my knowledge into that. Also taking help from doctors like you and dietitians, other fitness coaches to come up with a solution that is required by the community.
तो जो आपकी पढ़ाई है, your education that spans so many domains, engineering,
Yes, starting from engineering.
diabetes education,
Yes,
sports nutrition,
yes,
and physical fitness,
yes,
that's exercise physiology. तो
right,
इतने सारी चीजों में तो इन्होंने achievement की हुई है मिस्टर साहिल ने, and how he has used all that education, all that information is to create solutions, physical fitness solutions for people living with type 1 and also type 2 diabetes.
yes.
मगर साहिल जी, एक तो स्माइल का राज बताएं, दूसरा ह्यूमिलिटी का राज बताएं. आपने अभी अभी कहा कि you reached out to other people, you reached out to doctors, you reached out to dietitians, and you must have reached out to so many other people.
Right.
So why do you feel the need to reach out? What is the importance of teamwork if someone lives with diabetes or someone lives with any other chronic illness?
Right. I think this is a very important point in terms of reaching out to others, because when I was living with type 1 as well, and in the initial years, in 2011-12, when internet was not that strong in India, we didn't had like now we have mobile phones, internet is used by everyone. In those years, it was not that strong, and I couldn't connect with other type 1s. तो मुझे ये लगता था कि इंडिया में मैं अकेला ही हूँ जिसको टाइप 1 है. और ऑफ कोर्स मेरे साथ मेरी फैमिली थी, डॉक्टर्स थे जो मुझे ट्रीट कर रहे थे, बट देन ऑल्सो दे डिडंट हैड personal experience of living with type 1. So that pushed me in terms of being vocal about it and finding other type 1s. So जिनसे मैं starting में connected था, those were majorly in European countries or US, but slowly I connected with other type 1s in India as well. And that is how, when I couldn't find the solution for all the problems, I started approaching doctors, dietitians, fitness coaches to understand more about this, what exactly is the problem, why there is no solution. And I never felt shy to reach out to doctors or even to any professional for help, or even for doing a collaboration as well.
जो आप कह रहे हैं, you never felt shy, ये तो एट्रीब्यूट है हरियाणा का, मेरे स्टेट का है. How do you happen to have got that?
I am born in Haryana, Sonipat, Haryana. So I think that is in blood, maybe.
So being shy is not part of our DNA. We actually don't know what the word shy means.
I
But
was a
Prakash,
bit introvert, before my diagnosis. But I think diabetes, my diagnosis with type 1 actually helped me in terms of understanding a lot other things apart from just insulin or blood sugar levels. It gave me a very big picture of what exactly is how we should live our life as well.
so the obstacle that you faced, other people may call it an obstacle, but you were able to convert that into an opportunity. Would
Right.
that be right?
Yes. Yeah.
प्रकाश वधवानी जी भी आपका हार्दिक अभिनंदन कर रहे हैं साहिल जी, एंड अनामिका जी भी आपको गुड इवनिंग कर रही हैं. एंड a question that is coming from the audience is, our topic for today is physical fitness and diabetes. So
Right.
the question is, what leads to what? Does physical fitness or lack of physical fitness lead to diabetes, or does diabetes lead to lack of physical fitness?
Right. Now, if we again, diabetes is a very broad term, right? There are different form of diabetes: type 1, type 2, gestational diabetes, and others as well. But talking specifically, if we talk about type 1, that is an autoimmune disorders. So we don't really have to say that it is because of our lifestyle, but leading a sedentary lifestyle can increase our chances for type 2 diabetes. So they that is interrelated. Physical fitness and chronic disorders like diabetes are interrelated, but we have to also be in check in terms of what type of diabetes it is. So if we are talking about type 2 diabetes, surely our lifestyle impacts the diagnosis, the management, everything we do with that.
राइट। सो एक तो ये हमें बताया जा रहा है, मिस्टर मदान ये बता रहे हैं कि डायबिटीज अलग अलग तरह की होती है, एंड दैट इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। टाइप 1 डायबिटीज इज डिफरेंट, टाइप 2 इज डिफरेंट, एंड और तरह की भी डायबिटीज होती हैं, जेस्टेशनल डायबिटीज, पैंक्रियाटिक डायबिटीज। बट ज्यादातर साहिल जी, हैव यू फेल्ट दिस? क्योंकि टाइप 2 डायबिटीज इतनी प्रेवलेंट है, इतनी
Right.
कॉमन है, मे बी 99%, 98% ऑफ ऑल डायबिटीज इज टाइप 2। तो जो 1
Correct.
या 2% टाइप 1 डायबिटीज है, those people they get lost, they are not able to find their own place under the sun. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think me and every type 1 who is watching this or are there, they can totally relate to it, because when also we used to tell that, other people that we live with type 1 or we live with type 1 diabetes, they were like, okay, मतलब आपको मीठा नहीं खाना है, या फिर there are specific things that they relate to type 2 diabetes, which they might have seen in their family. So it was very hard to make other people understand specifically about type 1 diabetes. Generally India mein I feel is just one single term, diabetes. So उनको ये क्लैरिटी नहीं है कि अच्छा टाइप 1 भी कुछ होता है या टाइप 2 कुछ होता है या जेस्टेशनल कुछ होता है. डायबिटीज इज जस्ट अ वर्ड दैट ओके शुगर की बीमारी है, दैट्स इट.
Ayushi Jain ji bhi yahi keh rahi hain. She says exactly what you are saying. And Dr. R.S. Chaudhary, sir is a senior surgeon from Karnal. He has also joined us. He also greets you. तो अब ये जो है, आप प्रॉब्लम तो सही कह रहे हैं. 99% of all people have type 2, 1% have type 1. In India and in most countries in the world actually, we tend to club all these together. तो जो टाइप 1 डायबिटीज वाले बच्चे हैं या जो अडल्ट्स हैं, एडोलसेंट्स हैं, उनकी जो यूनिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, यूनिक नीड्स हैं, वो sort of they are brushed under the carpet, गायब हो जाती हैं. So, what are some of these needs, Mr. Sahil? What are the unique needs of, let us say, a child and adolescent? Let's talk about adolescents and young men and women like you. What are the unique needs which are different from those of people with type 2 diabetes?
Right. I think the first thing that comes into picture is the use of insulin. While in type 2, not everybody is using insulin. A lot of them are on oral medications. But with type 1, managing insulin and food is on the top priority, which again is the awareness about it, and the adjustment about how to use insulin is not very clear with type 1s. And and also because there are kids, there are adolescents, there are teenagers, young adults with type 1, they are engaged more in physical activity, in sports, in fitness. So there is very less awareness about how to manage the sports and physical activities with managing type 1. So how to use basically insulin when they are playing any sport or they are doing any physical activity. That is the second important thing I feel. And the third I would feel is the mental health support, because type 1 diabetes is a 24/7 job. There is no break. Even when you are sleeping, you have to make sure the blood sugar levels are in range. So that impacts a lot of that takes a lot of our space. That whether we are going for a marriage, we are playing, we are at work, whatever we are doing, we have to manage our condition. So it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of stress, and I feel there is very less support in terms of mental health counseling for that. So that should be I think those are the 3 points that are very different from type 2 diabetes.
So, three things that Mr. Madan has highlighted for us. Number one, जो दवाइयाँ होती हैं डायबिटीज की, वो टाइप 1 डायबिटीज और टाइप 2 में अलग होती हैं. इंसुलिन होता है टाइप 1 में, टाइप 2 में भी कुछ लोग इंसुलिन लेते हैं, बट उसमें भी जो रेजिमेन होते हैं, द रेजिमेंस आर डिफरेंट. In type 1, usually you have to take a basal bolus or 4 injections per day, and you may need an insulin pump as well. दूसरा जो साहिल जी ने बताया, that was related to physical fitness, sports, games, exercise. ये एक essential part है of any human being, anybody who is growing up, anybody who is young and active, and we need to be able to sort of balance our physical activity with the needs and requirements of diabetes management. And the third, of course, is mental health support. एक और चीज भी लेंगे, and let's talk about food. Now, Sahil, most people with type 1 diabetes are young, and most of them are lean and thin. तो उनके खाने के लिए, और जो टाइप 2 डायबिटिक है, ज्यादातर इंडिया में लोग ओबीज या ओवरवेट होंगे, उनके खाने में भी फर्क होता होगा. तो what differences are there, and have you ever felt hurt by society because people didn't understand your basic needs for food?
Right. I think food is one of the major parts, and coming from India, where we love food.
And food is tasty also. Heavy swads.
Absolutely. And currently, because I am out of India, so I can totally agree with you on that. Um, but again, the food requirement also, someone living with type 1 and usually someone who is diagnosed with type 1 is underweight, and they have in their diagnosis as well, they lost a lot of weight, so they are usually, trying to gain more weight or build muscle. And because they are so scared to eat, and they cannot manage their insulin requirements, that is one of the major factors in terms of food that they don't understand, and they start, having these issues with, or maybe you can call relationship with food, that you cannot eat this, or you cannot eat carbs, or you cannot eat fruits. In the starting, I think this also impacted my diagnosis as well. When I was diagnosed, I was told that you cannot eat fruits, you cannot eat carbs, and that eventually led to a lot more weight loss, because I was not eating enough calories. So and coming on to type 2 diabetes, again, managing insulin is less there, but again, food is a major part there as well. Exercise and nutrition is major part there as well. So food is impacting both the type of diabetes, but the management is quite different, because on one side you have to manage insulin with it, and on the other side it is more of oral medications.
सो फूड इज इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड अगर कोई ओवरवेट है, ओबीज है, उनको तो आप कहेंगे टू रिस्ट्रिक्ट कैलोरीज, मगर
Correct.
उनमें भी आप याद रखेंगे दैट दे हैव टू हैव अ बैलेंस्ड डाइट.
Right.
विटामिन्स, मिनरल्स ये पूरे होने चाहिए, प्रोटीन्स कम नहीं होने चाहिए, अदरवाइज मसल विल वैनिश, गायब हो जाएगी. और
Right.
अगर कोई बच्चा है, यंग पर्सन है विद टाइप 1 डायबिटीज, वो वैसे ही दुबला पतला है, उसको आप बोल दो खाना बंद कर दो. और बहुत सारे हमारे बाबा लोग करवाते भी हैं, उनको बस ये होता है जी इंसुलिन बंद करनी है. द एम इज नॉट कि लाइफ ठीक रखनी है, बच्चे को तंदुरुस्त रखना है, बच्चे को 100 साल का करना है. द एम इज बस हमने टीका बंद करना है, और हमने मीडिया के सामने शो करना है कि हम टीका बंद कर सकते हैं. उसमें आप बच्चे को स्टार्व कर दें, टीका बंद हो जाएगा. पर बिल्कुल ऐसे ही तो है. एंड साहिल जी इज ऑल्सो फ्रॉम हरियाणा. अगर आपने जीरी उगाई हुई है या आपने गेहूं उगाया हुआ है, आप उसको पानी नहीं देंगे, खाद नहीं देंगे, तो वो जीरी उगेगी नहीं. द राइस या जो गेहूं, जो वीट है, इट विल नॉट ग्रो. सो इफ यू वांट the plant to grow, you have to feed it, you have to give it fertilizer, you have to give it water, and that's what type 1 diabetics need, not more than that.
Right.
साहिल जी, आयुषी जैन जी भी आपके साथ सहमत हैं, but she says people just don't understand how far apart type 1 and type 2 diabetes are. So
Right.
all the work that you are doing, Fable Care and Dia and Fused, do you speak about this type 1 versus type 2?
There are a lot of time there are discussions about type 1 and type 2, because it is again overlapping, or people are not aware about it. I also work with type 2 diabetic people as well, and also some other chronic diseases like hypertension, or PCOS, or weight loss as well. So I feel every chronic disease in India, there is less awareness about all the disorders. So not just type 1, but because type 1, a very less population of people living with diabetes live with type 1, so that's why there is very less awareness. And there is a common ground for type 1, type 2, or any form of diabetes or any chronic disease. And that I personally feel is diet, is nutrition and exercise. Because if we work on improving that, all every aspect of that is improved. So for example, with insulin, we are surviving with insulin, we are not improving our health with insulin. Of course it will help us, in absorbing the food, the minerals that we are eating, but again, if we need improvement, we need to work more towards the nutrition and exercise part of it.
So we have questions coming up both on nutrition and on exercise and also on social support. So Dr. Utsav Sahu, who is a leading physician, a diabetologist from New Delhi, and he uses the words culinary cruelty to describe what happens when people around you, Sahil, when they keep on eating rasgullas and gulab jamuns without worrying about what's going on in your mind. And sometimes when they force feed you all these mithai saying, kuch nahi hota. That's culinary cruelty. And he also uses the word dietary draconism. Dietary draconism is when सब कुछ बंद कर देंगे अभी बस हमने सारे शुगर वाले बच्चों का शुगर बंद करनी है कभी मैंगो की शक्ल भी नहीं देखनी सूंघना भी नहीं मैंगो को that's dietary draconism. So he uses these words and he says now adolescent have a type 1 diabetes or type 2 he is following a good routine सब बहुत बढ़िया है अब peer pressure तो होता ही है so you are invited for a night out maybe to a dinner party or for an evening at the pub. How do you handle such peer pressure and what
I
advice would you give to other adolescents, other young people?
I would 100% agree with Doctor that these kind of things are there, because when you even go to, like you said, to a dinner or any party, or even you meet your relatives, there is a pressure that okay, they are eating, they will offer you as well, or sometimes they will push you as well. uh, and a lot of times, because specifically if we talk about type 1, a lot of people hide their condition as well, so they have to maybe eat it as well,
Pretend. Yeah.
or pretend to eat as well. But all these things, I think, how I have managed it is from the initial days only. So my family was always open about it. Like they used to, even if I'm going out on a marriage or with relatives, everybody knew that I live with type 1. So that was, I didn't have to hide it. Maybe sometimes, of course, the extended relatives might not know, or it was not in the news, but still, people around me, my friends, my family, everybody knew, so I never had to hide it. So that is the first important thing, because when parents or their family start hiding it, then it becomes a problem. So the patient or the user also, starts hiding it, and they find solutions for, how to maybe skip insulin, or how to not eat the required calories as well. When I was growing up with type 1, and I was diagnosed at 20. So that was the age when I started going out as well with my friends, or there is the age when you start partying maybe. So a lot of times, when I used to do that, I always made sure that I am not skipping my insulin dose. So even if I am going out to eat or drink with my friends or family, I used to exactly count the carbs and take insulin accordingly. Whether I am in a marriage or in a gathering of 500 people, I used to take insulin. So that was the first thing that I always followed. And there would be times when you cannot really inject perfectly for a gulab jamun or some other Indian sweet. That is tricky. Uh, so that used to happen, but that was my formula to take insulin and not skip insulin by any chance.
सो पॉइंट्स वेल टेकन जो पीयर प्रेशर है अगर एक तो सबको बता दें यू डिस्क्लोज योर कंडीशन टू पीपल अराउंड यू तो पीयर प्रेशर खत्म हो जाता है काफी दूसरा डोंट हेजिटेट डोंट फील शाई इन टेकिंग इंसुलिन
Correct.
एंड इफ यू आर गोइंग आउट लेट योर इंसुलिन वायल एंड सिरिंज और योर इंसुलिन पेन आल्सो गो आउट विद यू उसकी भी
Absolutely.
आउटिंग करवा लो इज दैट राइट
Yeah, I don't remember in the last 11 years when I have stepped out of my home without glucometer and insulin. Even if I am just taking a 15-minute walk, because I know there might be chance कि वो walk करते मुझे hypo हो जाए, my sugar goes down. So how will I manage? I should have glucose or some hypo tabs with me. So it's a bit discipline as well. what you have to
And
do.
you're right. And it actually, your discipline predates what everybody is doing these days. These days, nobody goes out of home without their mobile phone or without their smartwatch. तो आप
Yes.
पहले से ये कर रहे हो, and you're smarter than everyone else. आकांक्षा जी कहती हैं, साहिल भैया कम टू द पॉइंट, काम धाम कोई कर नहीं रहे और गप्पे मारे जा रहे हो, हमारा टॉपिक है फिजिकल फिटनेस. सो आकांक्षा, पॉइंट वेल टेकन. साहिल और मैं दोनों गिल्टी हैं इसके, हम गप्पे मारने बैठ गए थे. बट द क्वेश्चन नाउ इज जिम एंड डायबिटीज. सो साहिल, लेट्स स्ट्रक्चर दिस इन द फॉलोइंग हेडिंग्स. सबसे पहले, ऐसी कोई चीज है जो 100% मना है to a child or an adolescent or a young adult living with type 1 diabetes? Any exercise which is absolutely contraindicated? Can I
Mhm.
go to the top of Mount Everest if I want with type 1
Yes,
diabetes?
absolutely. I don't think there is any physical activity, any sports, any fitness form that a type 1 cannot really do.
So you can go to Mount Everest, and actually people with type 1 diabetes have done that. Can I go swimming? Can I go scuba diving if I have type
Yes,
1 diabetes?
yes, absolutely.
Uh, some things may not be possible, that would be in the professional domain. So if I want to learn flying, can I learn flying?
So there are, of course, guidelines. Also, depending on different countries, how they actually do that. But there, I have seen few articles in. I don't know if that was which was the country, but there are people living with type 1 who are flying planes.
Yes. In India, it may not be possible from a professional point of view, but यदि आप सीखना चाहते हैं as an amateur, that's not an issue. You can do that actually.
Right, right,
तो
absolutely.
so ये तो बहुत clear हो गया. Thanks Akanksha for asking the question, and thanks Sahil ji for answering that. That there is no sport, no physical fitness regimen, no exercise, no game that is contraindicated. You can do anything that you want.
Right.
अब next question आता है, what should I want as a person living with type 1 diabetes? Take my age as 18, 25, 30, 35. मुझे करना क्या चाहिए? What is an ideal?
I think this is not again even for just type 1s, but any human that is there. There are some specific physical activities like they should train their muscles, they should train their heart and lungs. So that is how our fitness is also divided into different forms. So fitness for people living with diabetes or any other chronic illness doesn't changes. So अगर कोई रनिंग कर रहा है उसका इफेक्ट इट विल बी सिमिलर फॉर समवन हु लिव्स विद टाइप 1 और समवन हु इज नॉट लिविंग विद टाइप 1. फिजिकल एक्टिविटी कभी भी चेंज नहीं होगी. So again, to be healthy, to be fit, again we always confuse health and fitness in terms of when we start exercising. So health is, when you are going for a walk, you can do daily activities, you can go to work easily, you can cycle, you can do the basic lifestyle things. That is that you're healthy. But fitness again is very different. For if I take my reference, I might be fit than few people, and I might be less fit than few people. Right. So fitness levels, there should be a reference in terms of how I am lifting the weights or how much I am running. So that is a very different concept. But nothing changes if you live with any chronic illness. Fitness remains the same. How I will move my body remains the same. My muscle remains the same. Of course, there is effect of the disease as well. For example, if I'm living with type 1 diabetes for 11 years, I have to find a proper solution on how to do that activity. So अगर मुझे वेट लिफ्टिंग करनी है या मुझे रनिंग करनी है या मुझे स्विमिंग करनी है, मुझे उसका बस थोड़ा सा प्रोसेस चेंज हो जाएगा बिकॉज आई हैव टू मॉनिटर माई ब्लड शुगर लेवल्स, जो कि समवन हु इज नॉट लिविंग विद डायबिटीज उसको अपने ब्लड शुगर्स की चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वाइल समवन हु लिव्स विद टाइप 1 और टाइप 2 डायबिटीज और एनी फॉर्म ऑफ डायबिटीज, उनको ये ध्यान रखना है कि उनकी ब्लड शुगर रेंज में हो जब वो ये एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं.
Right. उत्सव जी, डॉक्टर उत्सव भी कहते हैं कि you yourself have maintained yourself very well and you have an amazing body. तो इसका राज बताओ. And let's sort of specify this. Suppose I have only 30 minutes in a day for physical fitness, या I have 1 hour in a day for physical fitness. मैं इसको कैसे इस्तेमाल करूं? 6 hours in a week or 3 hours in a week?
Right. I think we should always, and if you have even 10 minutes per day, that is better than not doing anything. So it's better to move. again, going to a gym is not always the solution. We have to focus more on how we are actually engaging our muscles as well, and also our heart and lungs. So it has to be a mix of cardio and strength training. A lot of people say that, if you are 50 or 60, you do not require strength training. But at every age, starting from a kid to and someone who is old, 70, 80, they the human anatomy remains the same. So you require cardio as well, and you require strength as well, endurance as well, stamina as well. So that remains same, and we have to, if you have 30 minutes or 60 minutes per day, you have to combine or get on a plan that involves both the things together.
एक प्लान बनाएं जिसमें एंड साहिल जी, केडी जोशी जी हमारे साथ लॉग्ड इन है, वो कह रहे हैं 70 इज नॉट ओल्ड, 70 इज वेरी यंग, हम 70 पे भी यंग है. एंड आल्सो डॉक्टर प्रदीप रावल भी लॉग्ड इन है फ्रॉम उज्जैन, मध्य प्रदेश. राजदीप जी, वी एक्नॉलेज योर क्वेश्चन ऑन मोडी. आपसे इजाजत चाहेंगे, वील रिक्वेस्ट यू कि इसका दोबारा किसी शो में आंसर दे देंगे. आज एक बार फिटनेस पे फोकस करते हैं. तो जो पॉइंट मिस्टर साहिल रेज कर रहे हैं, दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जितना भी आप अपने आप को टाइम देते हैं, लेट अस से यू आर गिविंग योरसेल्फ 10 minutes a day, लेट्स से यू आर गिविंग योरसेल्फ 7 hours a week, क्रिएट अ प्लान फॉर दैट. उस प्लान में यू मेक श्योर कि थिंग्स आर बैलेंस्ड. थोड़ा सा एरोबिक्स या कार्डियो ट्रेनिंग, थोड़ा सा रेजिस्टेंस एक्सरसाइज या मसल बिल्डिंग. रिमेंबर के अपर लिम्स, लोअर लिम्स, बाजुएं, टांगे, टॉर्सो, जो आपका ढांचा है, नेक, इन सब पे एक्ट करना है. रिमेंबर ऑल्सो कि आपकी जो प्रॉक्सिमल मसल्स हैं, जो बाजू के ऊपर वाले हिस्से की या टांग के ऊपर वाले हिस्से की मसल्स हैं, और डिस्टल मसल्स नीचे वाले हिस्से की, हाथ, पैर, इन सब पे फोकस करना है. सो ऑल द मसल्स शुड बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. But Sahil, now there are many people in India who are exercise naive. Let's say someone says, I am 52 years old and I've never exercised in my life. तो वो पहले दिन जाके एरोबिक्स करें या वेट लिफ्टिंग करें, गड़बड़ हो जाएगी. So what is the role of flexibility? Right. Balance exercises, yoga. And when you go to the gym, why does the gym coach always tell you पहले warm up करें, पहले stretching करें, उसके बाद काम पे लगें? Why is that?
Right. So, of course, when we have not done exercise in our life, or even, for example, if we are doing it regularly, we still need warm up, or we need a better blood flow in our muscles when we start training. So, when we go to a gym or any kind of training, our muscles or our body is not warmed up. So, if it is not warmed up, we might end up in injuries. So, for example, I got up early in the morning और मैंने अभी कुछ भी मूवमेंट नहीं करी, एंड इफ यू ट्राई, यू कैनॉट स्ट्रेच योर आर्म फुली. But when you do stretch, warm up, you can stretch it fully. So the muscle actually engages fully and there is less chances of injury. So any physical activity, whether it's swimming, whether it's running or lifting weights, it requires warm up of your body. That will help you, of course, prevent injuries as well, and also help you in your performance, how you do that physical activity.
So warm up stretching is important. यदि आपने पहले कभी भी exercise ना किया हो, it would be a good idea first to focus on flexibility,
right,
balance, yoga, and एक बार आदत सी पड़ जाए, then you move on to aerobics and also to muscle building. जो मिस्टर साहिल ने पॉइंट रेज किया that muscle building is important at every age, we cannot agree more. You are very right. क्योंकि जब हम muscles build नहीं करते, खासकर इन इंडियन पॉपुलेशन जहाँ पे हमारा प्रोटीन इंटेक बहुत कम है, many of us are vegetarians, and खासकर जब प्रोटीन इंटेक कम हो और एक्सरसाइज ना करें तो सार्कोपीनिया होता है, मसल्स बहुत वीक हो जाती हैं. तो जब मसल्स वीक होती हैं, दैट लीड्स टू अदर डिजीजेस एज वेल. सो दैट इज समथिंग वी हैव टू फोकस ऑन. Swapna Jain ji shares the best practice, and this is Mr. Jain from Vellore in Tamil Nadu. He takes insulin twice a day. He is 65 years old. He eats carbs and fruits, everything in moderation. Sugar is under perfect control, and he checks his sugars regularly. But जो इन्होंने exercise किया अपना physical regimen, he doesn't use a vehicle. He walks from home to work, and from work back to home every day. So because of that, he's able to lead a balanced life. So आप साहिल जी, right now you're in Sweden. वहाँ पे सड़क पे सैर करना और बैंगलोर में और सोनीपत में सड़क पे सैर करना, what's the difference?
So this I was again, this was actually one of the initial things that I noticed here or in any European country. I think it's there in every country because they have their focus is on doing cycling or going to work on a cycle. They have infrastructure for that. They have climate also for that, because in Bangalore, if we plan, or in North India, Delhi or Haryana, we plan to cycle to our work, it's not practically possible because of climate, because of not having the infrastructure as well. So there are a lot of things that of course contribute to it. But here, what I realized when I came here as well, and someone who is around 45, 50, the average person who was training at the gym when I went there as well was close to 40, 45. And they looked pretty strong at, for what our Asians look at the age of 50. Even if you talk about the muscle mass or the strength as well, so that is entirely different. And one of the major reason for that is because they do physical activity on daily basis. There is no food delivery applications here. There is very less cabs here. So people walk, people cycle, people drive. They go out to eat in the restaurants instead of ordering it on the application. So automatically they are moving their body in a better way.
So I think lesson for us is that we should move even more. ज़्यादा movement करें, ज़्यादा physically fit रहें. एक और क्वेश्चन आ रहा है साहिल जी, एज अ पर्सन लिविंग विद डायबिटीज, हाउ डू वी बिल्ड मसल्स? मैंने आज तक मसल बिल्डिंग नहीं की, जिम में जा नहीं सकता या जा नहीं सकती, इट्स नॉट लोकेटेड इन अ कंफर्टेबल प्लेस, या आई कांट अफोर्ड इट. व्हाट कैन आई डू एट होम? हाउ कैन आई बिगिन डूइंग वेट लिफ्टिंग एंड रेजिस्टेंस एक्सरसाइजेस एट होम?
Right. So again, for building muscle, you don't have to go to a gym. You can basically just start with body weight exercises. So running and everything, of course, you can just go out and run in a park. That's how you do cardio. And for building muscles, you have to do resistance or strength exercises. So you can start with basic body weight workout, and slowly when you develop some strength, you can just have few dumbbells at your home and start working out at your home only with those dumbbells or whatever equipment that you can buy. So it's also about how, when you are starting to exercise, having enough protein requirement or protein consumption or other macros as well, that is also important. So even if you do exercise and you're not eating the right nutrition, you won't be able to build muscles.
So exercise and nutrition both. Akanksha ji पूछ रही हैं, if we take protein powder to fulfill our daily need of proteins, does that help or not?
Absolutely. So I personally feel, so these are called protein supplements or any other supplement. If you take the word supplement, it is addition to your diet. So if you are not completing the requirements for your macros are protein, fat, and carbs with your home cooked diet, then it's fine to add the supplement as well. But again, we have to consider that that is a artificial food. So again, using it for a long term is not as good as eating a home cooked food. But it is completely fine to have to take protein supplement if they are authentic. So in India, again, there is a problem of a lot of adulteration in terms of protein supplements. So that is why you might see a lot of people saying not to use supplements, but otherwise it's completely fine.
You can take any medical grade supplement. यदि आपको डायबिटीज नहीं है तो कोई भी मेडिकल ग्रेड सप्लीमेंट ले लें जिसमें भी हाई प्रोटीन हो. और यदि डायबिटीज है देन यू हैव टू टेक अ प्रोटीन सप्लीमेंट. ऑफ कोर्स हर एक में कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स भी होते हैं. कोई भी कह दे कि 0% कार्ब है, वो गलत कह रहे हैं, वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं. एंड अगर आप को डायबिटीज है देन यू हैव टू टेक अ प्रोटीन सप्लीमेंट व्हिच हैज अ लो ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स या व्हिच हैज हाई फाइबर कंटेंट. How do you check in India? एक तो go for a branded company, a good company. Secondly, you just look at the nutritional content. और पीछे आपको छोटे छोटे नंबर प्रिंट्स में दिखाई देगा, प्रोटीन 33%, कैलोरीज carbohydrates 42%, fat 11%. Total should be 100. So many companies we have seen sold at leading hospitals, so many brands where the total goes up to something like 210. So the person who has written that, he or she himself doesn't know what is being written.
Right.
And otherwise, speak with your doctor, speak with a friend and buy something good. अगर आपको प्रोटीन सप्लीमेंट दिखता है जो सस्ता है, दैट इज अ श्योर शॉर्ट वे कि ये गलत है, ये ठीक नहीं है. बिकॉज जब आप आटा या चावल खरीदते हैं, दैट इज कार्बोहाइड्रेट सीरियल, तो वो 10, 20, 30, 40 रुपए किलो आपको मिल जाएगा. द मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव राइस यू विल गेट फॉर 100 रुपीज अ केजी. जब आप प्रोटीन खरीदने जाते हैं, आपने नॉनवेज खरीदना है या दालें खरीदनी है या पनीर खरीदना है, ऑटोमेटिकली द रेट गोज अप. So soybean has got something like 35-40% protein content. That is 200 rupees a kg, 150 rupees a kg. So if you are going to get a high protein supplement, that will obviously be expensive. तो वो भी एक ख्याल रखना है आपने. साहिल जी आपको ग्रीट कर रहे हैं, डॉक्टर NS शारदा सर इज सीनियर फिजिशियन फ्रॉम अहमदाबाद. He sends you his blessings and he says that even laborers develop diabetes because of stress, because of tension. So what's the role of being tension free in physical fitness and overall fitness?
I think that is very important for anyone, not just someone who is in the corporate job or doing some labor work. I think there are stress in everyone's life. Only the reason changes, but again, when a lot of our immunity, or I think you can also put this better than me in front of the audience, that when you have stress, a lot of your immune system is compromised in a lot of things. And that is one of the reasons when we start developing stress for any reason, there are high chances that we might develop lifestyle disorders. And in managing also, will, for example, if I'm living with type 1 diabetes, and there are days at my work or in my personal life when I have a lot of stress as compared to other days, I see my insulin requirement getting high. I see high blood sugar levels for that specific phase. So it surely impacts our management as well, and also health in general.
So stress is important. जब टेंशन होती है, जब स्ट्रेस होता है, whenever you are under stress, तो ऐसे हार्मोन्स निकलते हैं, ऐसे केमिकल्स निकलते हैं बॉडी से, which end up increasing glucose and blood pressure. अगर कभी कभी स्ट्रेस हो, कभी कभार हो, जैसे बच्चे ने एग्जाम देने हैं, तो once a year you go for your final exams, twice or thrice a year you go for your term exams, तब भी टेंशन होती है, शुगर बीपी थोड़ा सा बढ़ता है, but that is adaptive. It is an adaptation. It will help you pass those exams. पर यदि आप टेंशन रखेंगे 24/7 कंटिन्यूअसली, 24/7 by 365, तो कंटिन्यूअसली ये हार्मोन्स निकलते रहेंगे, which will increase your blood pressure, your pulse rate and your sugar. एंड इसके साथ क्रॉनिक डिजीजेस आएंगी, नॉट ओनली डायबिटीज बट ऑल्सो हाई ब्लड प्रेशर. बल्कि ये जो हार्मोन्स हैं, कई बार ये ऐसे भी काम करते हैं दैट दे एक्ट ऑन द एडिपोज टिश्यू एंड दे इंक्रीज ओबेसिटी. तो इसका ख्याल रखना है स्ट्रेस का. विनी जोगलेकर जी पूछती हैं, व्हाट अबाउट स्किपिंग विद अ रोप? इज स्किपिंग कार्डियो? इज इट मसल बिल्डिंग? इज इट गुड फॉर पीपल विद डायबिटीज?
So first thing, it is cardio. A lot of course, your muscles are getting engaged in terms of your calf muscle or leg muscles, but that is very less. There's no hypertrophy because of that uh, with skipping. So it is, if you see broadly, it is a cardio because your heart and lungs are trained more, and it is safe for diabetes. Not for people who have some kind of neuropathy or some kind of complication with diabetes, but otherwise it's completely fine.
Akanksha ji has a question. Is there any specific reason why people with diabetes are asked to take care of their feet, especially? Why the feet and why not other parts of the body?
Yes. I think this is one of the points that I have also always taken care of. I have always, I used to use shoes. I never going chappals outside or sandals outside, because first thing is there are very high chances of getting injured in your feet than any other body part, because you're walking, you are playing, or whatever you are doing. And second thing is, it's very difficult if your diabetes is uncontrolled. It is difficult for your wounds to recover. So that is one of the important things, and that is why doctors or medical professionals tell people living with diabetes to take care of their feet.
जो हमारी नर्व्स हैं, the nerves which supply the feet, all the nerves come from the brain, all of them. And the nerve that has to supply the feet, that travels the longest distance because the feet are furthest away from the brain. So there are maximum chances of insult or injury to that nerve. जब भी आपकी nerves weak होंगी, whether it is because of vitamin B deficiency or whether because of diabetes or any other reason, तो जो feet वाली nerves हैं, they will be impacted first because their distance is the furthest from the brain. Similarly for the blood vessels, जो खून की नसें हैं, जो धमनियां हैं, जो खून पहुंचाती हैं, खुराक पहुंचाती हैं पूरी बॉडी में, they are also all starting from the heart. And the blood vessels which supply the feet are the longest ones. They are the ones which are most exposed to insult or injury. तो इसलिए इंजरी वहां पे ज्यादा होती है. दूसरा आप देखेंगे कि आपके हाथ, आपके पैर, बाकी सारी चीजें जो हाथ या बॉडी, बाकी सारी चीजें जो हैं, ये आप आसानी से देख सकते हैं. बट सपोजिंग यू आर अ बिट ओबीज, यू आर अ बिट ओवरवेट, या आपकी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी उतनी नहीं है, मूवमेंट उतनी नहीं है, तो आप अपने पैर देख नहीं पाएंगे प्रॉपर्ली. तो वो भी एक इश्यू आता है कि समटाइम्स वी आर नॉट एबल टू सी आवर फीट प्रॉपर्ली एंड देन वी
We
एंड
don't
अप मिसिंग सो मेनी. हाँ. एंड it's not only feet, it's the entire body, but feet का जरूर ख्याल रखना चाहिए. So thanks Akansha for raising that, and thanks Sahil for also pointing out कि जब आप जिम जाएं, make sure that your footwear is appropriate.
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. N.S. Sharda sir कह रहे हैं take a history also if someone has got stress, and stress का कारण ढूंढें. कारण ढूंढेंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपको हल भी मिल जाएगा, सोल्यूशन भी मिल जाएगा. What Mr. Sahil is talking about, the fact that we need to reach out to each other, people with type 1 diabetes reaching out to each other and reaching out to every member of the healthcare team, the nutritionist, the diabetes educator, the doctor, everyone. That's really important. That is what we try to do on KK Med Talks. तो वो भी आज हम यही कोशिश कर रहे हैं. इसी में एक क्वेश्चन आ रहा है. This is from Creative Folks, so very creative name. Thanks Creative Folks for keeping this name. This brings a smile. Type 1 diabetes men and type 1 diabetes women, can they marry each other? Does the risk of diabetes go up in the offspring?
I think looking at the numbers in terms of if you marry a type 1, of course, there are slightly more chances that the kid will develop type 1. And if two person are marrying together with type 1, there are slightly more chances of the kid developing type 1. So of course the chance increases, but also there was no one in my family who had type 1 and I got type 1. So I personally don't believe in that. There are chances, and there is the autoimmune spectrum that might be in the family as well, which, for example, like started with me in my family.
So the risk of type 2 diabetes is much higher. I think that is what we should worry about. यही message जाना चाहिए. And आजकल के आंकड़े कह रहे हैं 15% of every Indian will develop type 2 diabetes. So that is what we should worry about more, and we shouldn't worry about the other things.
Right.
एक English word मैंने recently सीखा था साहिल. So we spoke of the feet and the fact that we are not able to see our feet. And an English word that I learned recently is acnestis. ACNE, acne, जो acne होती है face पे. STIS, acnestis. So let's ask everyone in the audience what acnestis means, and then what is the similarity between acnestis and our feet. So ये question है. We'll ask Pratik to put that up in the comments. ACNE STIS. In the meantime, what we have been doing this week is because what we have been doing this week is because of Doctors Day and Doctors Week. What we've been doing is that we've looked at the 4 most Googled questions on our topic, the 5 most Googled questions. तो वो questions एक बार पूछते हैं. So first, if Pratik, you can put up the spelling acnestis, and then let's see if everyone can answer that for us, what that means. And this is our question. So acnestis आ गया, and now Sahil ji, ये question आपके लिए. This is the most frequently Googled question on physical fitness and diabetes. And the question is, why does my blood glucose change when I exercise?
Right. I think this is a very broad discussion on this topic. But again, to summarize in few points, uh, with different form of physical activity, different form of exercise. If you are doing cardio, whether you are doing high intensity training, you are doing strength or powerlifting, your sugars pattern will change according to that. So there are different effect on the blood sugar levels according to different type of exercise, right? And when you are doing it in some exercises, in some form, you are burning more calories, or you are actually putting in more effort than the other exercises. So the pattern in your blood sugar also varies differently. And for example, in terms of heavy weightlifting, so what it does is it puts a lot of stress on your body. So if I am lifting 100 or 150 kg according to my capacity for one time, so that means I have to push my body for few seconds at a very high intensity, and that releases stress hormones in my body, and which eventually increases my blood sugar levels as well. It's a lot of science behind, there is a blood sugar dump from the liver as well, which raises our blood sugar levels. So but different form of exercises impacts our blood sugar levels in a different way, and that is what we need to learn in terms of doing that physical activity in a healthier way.
So point well taken. And actually, for this, it was good idea to have expertise, expert help, and that is what Mr. Sahil Madan actually specializes in helping people with type 1 diabetes create a proper fitness regimen for them. कई बार सिंपल वर्ड्स में अगर देखें, हमारी बॉडी में चीनी है, खूब सारी चीनी है, खूब सारा ग्लूकोज है, मगर उस चीनी को इस्तेमाल करने के लिए, सेल्स में ले जाने के लिए, अपटेक के लिए, खासकर मसल्स में अपटेक करने के लिए हमें इंसुलिन चाहिए। यदि शुगर और इंसुलिन का बैलेंस है, बना हुआ है, तो वो जो ग्लूकोज है वो सही मात्रा में हमारी मसल या फैट या लिवर में जाएगी और लाइफ ठीक रहेगी। तो एक तो हमें ग्लूकोज सही चाहिए, दूसरा हमें इंसुलिन सही चाहिए, मगर रिक्वायरमेंट कितनी है मसल की वो भी नॉर्मल होनी चाहिए। ऐसे नॉर्मल, अगर सीधी सड़क चल रहे तो सब ठीक है, अब तीनों में कोई भी गड़बड़ हो जाए तो अप डाउन हो सकता है। सो एग्जाम्पल, इंसुलिन खत्म हो गई, आपने टीका लगाया था सुबह, एक्सरसाइज आप कर देंगे 8 घंटे के बाद, 12 घंटे के बाद, टीका है ही नहीं बॉडी में, टाइप 1 डायबिटिक में, देयर इज नो इंसुलिन, सो चीनी चाहे जितनी मर्जी हो, इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू गो इनटू द मसल। दूसरा, चीनी खत्म हो गई, आप खाना खाना भूल गए, 6 घंटे हो गए पिछला खाना खाए को, आप स्नैक लिए बगैर या प्रोटीन सप्लीमेंट लिए बगैर चले गए जिम और खूब सारी कसरत कर ली, फिर शुगर लो होने का चांस है। और तीसरा, मसल कितना डिमांड कर रही है, सडनली आपने बहुत ज्यादा डिमांड कर दिया मसल की तरफ से। बॉडी ने जिंदा रहना है, लिवर खूब सारा काम करेगा कि मैं अपनी मसल को बचा के रखूं, इसको बीमार ना होने दूं, इसको भूखा ना रखूं, बट कई बार वो मिक्स एंड मैच या वो बैलेंस नहीं बन पाता। सो ये जो बैलेंस बनाना है, एंड द फोर्थ थिंग वी विल ऐड इज फ्लूइड, वाटर। तो चीनी कितनी है बॉडी में, कितना खाना खाया है, कितना नहीं खाया, पानी कितना है बॉडी में, हाउ मच फ्लूइड देयर इज, समटाइम्स यू कैन गेट डिहाइड्रेटेड इन द समर इन एन इंडियन जिम। तीसरा, इंसुलिन कितनी चल रही है आपकी बॉडी में, उस टाइम कितना असर कर रही है, और चौथा, इंसुलिन का डिमांड कितना है बाय द मसल्स। इन चारों को बैलेंस करना होता है। डॉक्टर उत्सव गिव्स द राइट आंसर। एक्नेस्टिस इज एक्चुअली द पार्ट ऑफ आवर बैक, हमारी पीठ का हिस्सा है, बिटवीन द शोल्डर ब्लेड्स, जहां पे आप अपना हाथ नहीं पहुंचा सकते, वेर यू कैन नॉट रीच टू स्क्रैच। बट जिम में इसका भी हल है, एंड डॉक्टर उत्सव सेज द सिमिलैरिटीज, यू कांट रीच योर फीट समटाइम्स and you can't reach your acnestis. So I go to the gym, and once this is over, I'll also go to my gym. The person who takes care of me in sector 14 in Karnal is Mr. Pradeep Narwal. So he taught me this exercise, and आप अपने दोनों हाथ पीछे ले जाएं and see if you can touch them behind, एक ऊपर और एक पीछे, and देखो उंगलियों के साथ पकड़ सकते हैं कि नहीं। This, जब अगर आप पहुंच पाए, this is your acnestis, and try the opposite side as well. So Sahil, let's see, can you do that?
I do this a lot of times, so I can hold it.
हो गया, well done, 3 cheers. Okay, so everyone should do that. So first question में तो पप्पू पास हो गया। Second question, let's see Pratik, what the second most googled question is. Should I consult the doctor before undertaking any exercise regimen if I'm a person living with diabetes?
So in this, not just the doctor, but you should also consult a certified fitness coach as well before you start any exercise. So the importance of understanding and taking input from the doctor is whether if you have any complication or you should go for any test before starting it. So that should come from the doctor. And when you start uh, the training, the fitness plan should come from a fitness coach. So it is a combination of different experts that you have to work with, not just a fitness coach, not just a doctor or a dietitian. It is a combination of all the experts. So you should uh, surely consult your doctor as well and also your fitness coach.
So thanks for that, and do reach out. यदि आप टाइप 1 या टाइप 2 डायबिटीज के साथ हैं, don't hesitate. Do reach out to the experts and do the best for yourself. They'll all help you. Let's see the third question, Pradeep. Can regular exercise keep my diabetes and insulin levels in check? Sahil ji.
I think I have personal experience in this, not just in check, but it will actually improve a lot of things. Uh, 5 or 6 years back, when I was, of course, starting on my fitness regime, and my weight was around 60, 65, 62 kgs, and my insulin requirement for one day, uh, adding the long acting and short acting, was close to 60 units. So 1 unit of my body weight per kg. Now, after doing 5, 6 years of regular exercise, so regular doesn't mean I am in the gym 2 hours every day. Regular means 4 to 5 days every week, different form of exercises that I've been doing for the last 5, 6 years. Currently, my weight is close to 70 kgs, and my total insulin dose is between 30 to 35 units. So I have seen that requirement of insulin dropping because of better body composition, because of better routine, because of better choices of food as well. So like I mentioned before as well, nutrition and exercise are the only things that will actually improve your condition.
Yeah. Swapna Jain ji bhi yahi keh rahi hai, and another shabash for you for being able to touch your acnestis. She says it's a yoga pose. So to your list of achievements, you can also add expert at yoga. जो साहिल जी कह रहे हैं कि यदि आप एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तो इंसुलिन की रिक्वायरमेंट कम होती है, दैट इज ट्रू, बिकॉज व्हाट एक्सरसाइज विल डू इज इट विल improve the insulin sensitivity of the insulin receptors in your muscles and also in your fat. तो जो ताले हैं, शुगर के जो ताले हैं जिनको इंसुलिन ने खोलना होता है, वो ताले एक्सरसाइज से खुल जाते हैं. जब एक्सरसाइज उन तालों को ग्रीस लगाती है और खोलती है, तो हमें चाबी कम लगानी पड़ती है, तो इंजेक्शन कम देना पड़ता है. Thanks, Sahil. The fourth question for us is, okay, yes or no, Sahil Bhaiya, is it possible to build muscles with diabetes?
100% yes.
And the proof is in front of us, right? And the fifth
And there
question,
are a lot more, not just me, there are a lot more people who have done that in India, in abroad. They are doing competitions as well, physical bodybuilding competitions. But the important thing here is to do that with managing your blood sugar levels. I have seen a lot of times when, in just, for building the muscles, people don't take care of the blood sugar levels, and that won't help in the long run. You might be able to build a good physique, but if your blood sugar levels are fluctuating for a long time, it will be a problem in the long run.
thanks. And our last question, this is the fifth most Googled question on physical fitness and diabetes. What is better, cardio or weight training for management of diabetes?
Right. I would say a combination of both is better for management of diabetes, because if you are just doing cardio or you are just running, you won't be able to build muscle. So that is again a problem. Or if you are building too much muscles but your heart and lungs are not healthy, that will also be a problem. So it's a combination of both the things that will help.
For general fitness, a combination of both. And Swapna Jain ji bhi yahi keh rahi hain. फॉर ओबीज पीपल जब आप वेट कम करना चाहते हैं तो बहुत लोग कहते हैं कि आई विल डू ओनली एरोबिक्स, बट वहां पे भी रेजिस्टेंस एक्सरसाइज चाहिए, समथिंग लाइक 5/7 एरोबिक्स। अगर 7 घंटे हैं जो आप एक्सरसाइज के लिए करेंगे, 5 घंटे एरोबिक्स, बट 2/7 रेजिस्टेंस इज मस्ट। अगर आप नहीं करेंगे, व्हाट विल हैपन इज दैट व्हाइल यू आर लूजिंग वेट योर मसल्स विल बिगिन टू श्रिंक, आपकी मसल्स गायब होनी शुरू हो जाएंगी, वहां से वेट निकलना शुरू हो जाएगा, एंड यू विल एंड अप विद वेरी वीक मसल्स। एंड जो बेसिक फंक्शनैलिटी है बॉडी की, उठना बैठना सीढ़ियां चढ़ना, उसमें कुछ टाइम के बाद दिक्कत आएगी। सो बोथ आर रिक्वायर्ड।
This is,
रोशन
I
सिंह जी
think,
पूछ रहे हैं। हाँ बोलो।
sorry.
या
No,
कैरी
adding
ऑन।
on to this point, I think this is a very common myth that people who want to for going for weight loss, they believe that cardio will help more than resistance training. But if you see, resistance training has more epoch. Epoch means the effect of the training in the strength. So if I am lifting weights, it lasts for more than 10 hours, while for cardio, it is 3 to 4 hours. So even after doing the exercise, you are burning for more hours than in cardio. So that is just a myth. Again, it's a combination of both that will work.
एंड रोशन सिंह जी पूछ रहे हैं, सर इज इट एडवाइजेबल टू ट्रेन एवरी डे?
Of course, we are moving. It's like asking whether I should walk daily or not, whether I should get up from the chair daily or not. It's physical activity is movement, and our bodies are designed to move. So you can do training on daily basis, but again focus on the recovery as well, not like you are training 4 to 5 hours every day and not taking care of the nutrition and recovery. So that is also important.
यहाँ पे साहिल जी, would you like to just explain, of course we've already covered more than an hour now, but would you like to explain the subtle difference between a professional athlete and all of us, the ones who are listening? तो ये जो question है about training every day, about recovery, let's speak about it from a normal human being point of view.
Right.
And let us just compare and contrast it with what otherwise may be being given right now at NIS Patiala to a professional athlete.
Right. So it's again very different also because uh, there is a lot of influence when we talk about going to a gym or building muscles. Not every person, every normal person who is not a professional requires that much hypertrophy or that much big muscles. It is again the health that they need to focus on and not the skills. So if we talk compare two people, one is a non-professional, they just need to take care of their heart and lungs, their muscles, so they need a different kind of training. But someone who is a professional, for example in football, then he needs a skill set to play that particular sport and a different fitness level as well. So unka training will again go for from few hours to several hours, and with training the diet, the nutrition also changes. You cannot do the same training with following the same nutrition of just home cooked food. That is very difficult. So they have their own training hours, they have different skill sets, they have different requirement for the nutrition as well. So we cannot replicate that, but we need to understand as a human what are the parameters for health and fitness, and we need to focus on that.
पॉइंट वेल टेकन। एंड रोशन जी भी आपको थैंक यू कर रहे हैं। रोशन जी के साथ साहिल जी, हम सब लोग के मेड टॉक वाला परिवार सब आपको शुक्रिया करते हैं फॉर स्पेयरिंग योर
Thank you
टाइम
so much.
फॉर अस। It's such a different feeling that you've brought to the show today. So your youth, your vitality, your enthusiasm, that I think has influenced all of us, and in a positive manner. केके मेड टॉक्स पे हम रोज होते हैं 7 से 8 बजे, और मैं होस्ट करता हूँ ये शो एवरी मंडे एंड थर्सडे। एवरी मंडे एंड थर्सडे वी ट्राई टू टॉक अबाउट डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ हेल्थ विद एक्सपर्ट्स लाइक यू। एंड हमारी कोशिश है, हमारी मुहिम है कि भारत स्वस्थ रहे, भारत तंदुरुस्त रहे, और भारत स्माइलिंग रहे, खुश रहे। तो एक तो प्रतीक, कुड वी शो सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ एप्रिसिएशन फॉर मिस्टर साहिल प्लीज?
Thank you so much, sir.
साहिल जी, एक सवाल, दो सवाल पूछते हैं जाते हुए। पहला सवाल तो है कि आप पूरे इंडिया को क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
I think in terms of because this was a session again on physical fitness, so it's very important to move every day, not just for physical health but also for mental health. So start moving, a lot of things will improve automatically.
So start moving, फिजिकल और मेंटल हेल्थ दोनों के लिए. और दूसरा क्वेश्चन आ रहा है, दिस इज फ्रॉम another person known as Mr. Sahil Madan. He is one of the leading businessmen of Karnal. एंड
अच्छा.
आपके हम उम्र हैं, आपके हम शक्ल भी हैं, हम नाम तो है ही हैं वो. शायद हम नफस भी बन जाएं कल को. वो पूछ रहे हैं, साहिल भैया मुस्कुराहट का राज बता दो.
It's just enjoying whatever you are doing. I always love to, talk about diabetes or about the condition that I'm living with. And it's also very good to connect with doctors like you or medical professionals and just to have a conversation and learn new things. So that is the only, I can say the reason. Yeah.
So, मुस्कुराहट के राज दो शेयर किए साहिल जी ने. एक तो ये कि एंजॉय वट एवर यू आर डूइंग, उसमें खुश रहें. एंड दूसरा, रीच आउट, कनेक्ट. तो इसी के साथ हम भी आपसे इजाजत लेते हैं और रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे, कीप ऑन रीचिंग आउट टू अस. एनीथिंग दैट यू वांट इन द फील्ड ऑफ हेल्थ, जस्ट लेट अस नो. केके में टॉक्स इज जस्ट अ मैसेज अवे. एंड वीरवार को आपको फिर मिलता हूं मैं. ये हमारा स्पेशल एपिसोड होगा एक, वेयर वील हैव वन आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर, डॉक्टर वर्षा, एंड वन allopath physician, Dr. Ashish Dengra from Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh. And they'll be talking about how Ayurveda and allopathy are actually two ways towards the same truth, towards the same goal. और वो हमारा गोल है स्वास्थ्य, सेहत, तंदुरुस्ती. इस सब के साथ आप सबसे इजाजत लेते हैं. स्वप्ना जी का भी पॉइंट शेयर कर रहे हैं. Stress is a part of life, so don't worry about it. Just smile a little bit, the way Sahil is doing. Walk a little. Sahil is बार बार उन्होंने कहा है, move and stay healthy. आपसे इजाजत लेते हैं. लेट्स बिगिन मूविंग. मैं जिम जाऊंगा. प्रदीप इज वेटिंग फॉर मी. साहिल हैज द फुल डे अहेड ऑफ हिम. एंड सबके लिए डोंट फॉरगेट टू टेक योर पोस्ट डिनर और प्री डिनर वॉक बिफोर यू गो टू बेड टुनाइट. गुड नाइट एंड जय हिंद.